Let's talk waiver wire pitchers up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. Today is Thursday, April 13th. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Chris Towers, and lots of interesting pitchers in action on Wednesday, and let's talk about them. Drey Jameson, nice return to the rotation, 4 shutout with 4 strikeouts up against the Brewers. Edward Cabrera only walked 1. That is a win in my book. 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts to 1 walk at the Phillies. Brad Keller, very interesting start. 6 2/3, 1 run, 7 strikeouts at the Rangers, the Corey Seager-less Rangers lineup now. And he's throwing a new curveball, so I'm kind of interested in Brad Keller. The last one, Taj Bradley. He made his debut. It was very successful against the Red Sox. 5 innings, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts in that one. Chris, how are you ranking this group? Because I have a feeling these are going to be very popular additions in fantasy.
Yeah, I think I would go Cabrera, Jameson, Keller, and Bradley. If I got some indication that Bradley's stay in the majors was likely to extend, longer than the next week or so, I think it would be easier to talk myself into him. He's obviously an incredibly talented pitcher, averaged over 95 miles per hour with his fastball. The cutter looked really good. He was able to throw it for strikes, and the curveball he was able to get swings and misses with. So it's a really interesting skill set, good numbers in the minors. I just don't know how long he's going to stay up. And I don't know if the Rays are going to let him throw 6 innings. So I think Taj Bradley probably just has the narrowest path to being a fantasy contributor, but clearly a very talented player. Keller, super interesting. I just don't think there's as much upside with him as there is with Cabrera and Jameson, especially when it comes to strikeouts, although I do like the new curveball that he's throwing. And then Jameson and Edward Cabrera, it's very similar things. They both need to throw strikes. They did today, and it worked out really well for them. I put Cabrera ahead of Jameson. Just a better minor league track record, I think, to fall back on for me.
All right, let's move into the waiver wire hitters from Wednesday's action. Jared Kelenic starting to heat up here. He hit a 482-foot home run to an area in Wrigley Field that you don't often see people hit home runs. He is now homered in 3 straight, up to 71% rostered. So this is more of a shallow league add, 3 outfielder leagues. Jorge Soler went 2 for 4 with his 4th home run. Jurickson Profar, he's starting to get going, has 6 hits with 2 home runs over his last 5 games. And Lourdes Gurriel had his breakout game with the Diamondbacks, went 3 for 5 with his 1st home run. Chris, how do you rank that group? Kelenic, Soler, Profar, Gurriel.
I think I would rank them Kelenic, Soler, Profar, Gurriel. Soler versus Kelenic's tough because I think Kelenic needs to be rostered in all leagues. I also think Jorge Soler, 49% rostered, has been under rostered basically since the start of the season. He's been red hot for all 11 games that he's played or whatever it is. But he's doing exactly what you want to see. He's hitting the ball in the air and he's hitting the ball really hard. He's not striking out that much. I think his strikeout rate's like 22%, which is great for him. And this is a guy we've seen hit 48 homers in a season. And even 2 years ago, he had 27. So I do think if Jorge Soler ends up with 35 homers at the end of the season, I would not be one bit surprised. I think it's more likely he's useful for fantasy than Jared Kelenic, but clearly people aren't buying Jorge Soler. So you don't have to add him to potentially get him. You can, wait a couple of days and still end up with him. Kelenic hitting a 482-foot home run. His roster rate went up 4% just in the 8 hours since that game ended. So I think he should be rostered universally, and I think he will be. So if you have a chance to pick Kelenic up, the upside is significant.
All right, real quick, let's wrap up with Chris Sale, who got clobbered once again at the Tampa Bay Rays. The 4-seam, the sinker, they're getting hit really, really hard right now. Let's remind people, he has made 14 total starts over the past 3 years. Maybe we were just expecting too much coming into the season. Chris, what have you seen from Sale, and would you be looking to buy low right now?
Yeah, the spring was not good for Chris Sale either. So yeah, it's been pretty bad. His command has been way off. I think the stuff has mostly looked okay. The velocity is down a little bit. It was higher in his first start, actually, and then has kind of gone down since. But I think overall, physically, he looks okay. I think it's just more he's rusty. He's not right. There are probably some mechanical things he's still working on. I would try to buy low. It's a total blind faith thing. For a lot of pitchers, I can give you X, Y, and Z reasons why they should be better moving forward. I can't really do that with Chris Sale. It's just a belief that Chris Sale is going to be better. He's not going to be a super ace, I don't think, but I think he will be a very useful fantasy option moving forward. If you ask me for specific reasons why, unfortunately, I cannot give you them. Like I said, it's faith in the pitcher and the talent figuring it out at some point.
He's still getting a lot of strikeouts, 19 strikeouts in 12 innings pitched, and he's been unlucky. A 406 BABIP, 42% home run to fly ball ratio. So
when you're getting hit that hard, though, it's hard to write it off as luck.
Yeah, that is fair. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.